Stick to the script.
An Omicronian wedding with no deaths is a rather dull affair. Hello, Internet, I'm Ren, and today I want to talk about Futurama Season 12, Episode 3, The Temp. This is a solid, middle-of-the-road Futurama episode by classic standards, which makes it a good episode by modern standards. It doesn't do anything earth-shattering in terms of moving the characters forward or having a huge emotional impact, but it's a fun adventure with some funny jokes and interesting set pieces. If there are more episodes like this season, I'll be pretty content. So let's get into it. Spoilers beyond this point. The Temp starts out with a classic Trek-inspired captain's log from Leela.
Captain's diary, stardate, Lur and Unda Unda's 63rd anniversary.
The crew is on the way to cater the vow renewal of Lur and Unda Unda. Everything seems fine.
All parameters nominal, but stay sharp, crew.
But Leela notes that
I don't know why, but I have a feeling something's not quite right.
Until she's reassured by someone who definitely isn't Fry.
Everything's fine, Leela. We're the best delivery/catering service in the galaxy.
Leaving us to wonder what the hell is going on.
Aw, thanks. You always know how to make me feel better, Fry.
The crew arrives at the vow renewal, which might be my favorite part of the episode. I love any appearance of the Omicronians.
Molotov!
And there are a lot of jokes here that got a laugh out of me.
Is that Crab Rangoon?
No, he's Dr. Zoidberg.
I know it shouldn't be so funny to me, but it is. The ceremony itself is as sweet and combative as you'd expect.
Now kiss the bride and come out fighting.
And we get another little Trek reference with the appearance of the Horta.
Love it when they dance the Horta. Care to join me?
After the crew returns home and Fry continues to hang around, we flash back to 23 years ago and the aftermath of Amazonian Women in the Mood, when Fry was, injured on the job.
Silence! You won't die like last men visit Amazonia?
What'd they die of?
Crushed pelvises.
And likely eligible for some workers' comp claims. He asks to take a vacation.
My pelvis and I could really use a vacation. Any chance I can get some time off, Professor?
And notably goes back to Amazonia.
See you in 2 weeks. Enjoy Amazonia.
So Hermes and the professor head to a temp agency to get someone to fill in for Fry. The agency is such a classic Futurama concept with shrink-wrapped workers on a conveyor thingy, and it seems to be run by H.G. Blob.
Lion tamer, bowling shoe spray technician. What exactly are you looking for?
After perusing a few options, they settle on the forgettable Frank as their temp. He's introduced to the gang.
Everyone, please welcome our new temp. This is,
Frank.
And is initially unenthusiastic.
Hi, Frank. Tell us about yourself.
I have no characteristics, and people forget me as soon as I leave the room.
Until he finds out he gets to travel.
You're going to be traveling around delivering things.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Wait, seriously? Traveling?
And then there's a little montage of him doing deliveries. It's actually pretty cute. He loves it.
I'm the temp. I've been here 2 weeks. The best 2 weeks of my life.
But after 2 weeks, the crew still can't remember his name.
Those are beautiful. Thanks a lot. I want to say Dave?
And seem to find him insufferable.
He's so enthusiastic. I can't stand his toxic positivity.
He likes everyone, even me.
For Frank's last day, they take him on a mission to dispose of some moldy books for the New York Library.
We had a water main break, and it damaged some of the books. And by some, I mean all 2.6 million.
They head to a dump on
Dalton B. It's a small planet in the Bunsen Nebula.
I looked up Dalton B, and it's a play on B. Dalton, a once prominent chain of bookstores in the US that was acquired by Barnes & Noble in the 80s before they were eventually liquidated and stripped for parts in 2009. I'm sure most Gen Xers didn't need to look it up, but it was well into decline when I was a kid, so I had never heard of it before. Hunting for background jokes like these is one of the things that I'll always love about Futurama, though. Although some of the no one reads jokes did bum me out a little in this episode.
It's so weird that reading used to be a thing.
That said, there is hope because book sales are higher than they've ever been, but I guess we'll have to wait till 2029 to see.
Nobody's checked a book out since 2029.
The gang finally disposes of the last of the books at the purple paper eater-infested dump and takes off, leaving poor Frank stranded. The crew gets home and Fry's back, so when Hermes does a head count, they're satisfied everyone is present and accounted for, as they've all completely forgotten that Frank exists.
I can get through this. I'm a temp, damn it. I'm sure they'll be back soon.
23 years later, Fry's feeling burnt out and considers taking a vacation, causing Hermes to lament the need for a temp.
If Fry takes a vacation, we'll have to get someone to fill in.
Why? We didn't get anyone last time.
Suddenly reminding everyone that Frank was a thing.
Or did we?
Oh, right. The temp. What's his name?
At first, they make fun of him,
He had a name?
Even I look down on him.
but then the horrible realization of the last place they saw him dawns.
He went with us on that trip to dump those old library books. And then...
So they decide to stop by the dump on the way to the wedding. Frank is still there.
We can never forget.
Frank.
Sounds right.
Having survived on a diet of books and fly larvae.
What did you eat?
Books. Book sandwiches, book soup, scrambled books with fly larvae.
They bring him aboard and he cleans himself up. He insists that they should leave, but Leela says they have to wait for Fry.
Shouldn't we be heading off to deliver that wedding cake?
Yeah, we just need to wait for Fry.
So Frank hypnotizes them, doing some weird thing with his eyes, and convinces everyone that he's Fry.
Ah, Fry.
So they leave actual Fry, notably the only one not complicit in this situation, stranded.
Hey, wait! Why hast thou forsaken me?
Bringing us back to where we started at the beginning of the episode. After the vow renewal ceremony, Leela stays with her family as a flimsy excuse to avoid faux Fry.
Oh, thanks, Fry, but I'm going over to my parents tonight.
And we find out that he's been there for about 6 weeks now.
Delicious.
Leela, what's going on? You've been living with us for 6 weeks now.
Out loud, she says she's happy and everything's fine, but she knows something isn't quite right.
I'm fine. There's just something that's off. It's not my relationship with Fry, if that's what you mean.
At a meeting, Hermes also thinks things are kind of weird,
First order of business. Has anybody noticed anything weird around here lately?
noting an increase in both productivity and soap use. Side note, men, everyone, men, please wash your hands whenever you use the bathroom. Anyways, they correlate the irregularities to the pit stop at Dalton B and decide to investigate.
Something very strange took place on Dalton B. We've got to get back there and find out what.
Which Frank can't resist without looking suspicious.
Right, Fry?
So off they go. At the dump, they find real Fry and his beard. He uses pictures with everyone to de-bamboozle them.
I remember! You are Fry! Oh, Fry!
Despite Frank trying to re-hypnotize them. Thwarted, Frank is still definitely mad about being abandoned.
I'm Frank.
Who?
Say what? The temp, who you stranded here for 23 long years.
Although this bit with the only readable books
Art of Clang Fu. I must have read this 1,000 times.
made me cackle.
And the Return of the King?
That one I didn't read. It's the 3rd book of the trilogy and I didn't want to spoil it.
And their little houses.
I even built them a little house.
Fry asks Frank why he wanted to take his place, and he says it's because
You have such a great life. Working at Planet Express was the one time in my life I was truly happy.
Frank pulls a gun and commandeers the Planet Express ship with the intent to strand everyone. But he doesn't actually know how to fly it and just immediately crashes instead. Bender has a devious, if convoluted plan involving hot chili powder to stop the still-armed Frank.
I'll bake the powder into a grenade to blind and disorient the enemy.
But honestly, I think Leela could take him.
Hi!
Instead, they sneak onto the ship through the thrusters, even if it's a smidge radioactive. But they all end up just forgetting that Frank exists and, by extension, Bender's plan.
What's that for?
I think I was going to throw it at somebody.
Who?
I can't remember.
And simply fly away, stranding him again. Back at Planet Express, Hermes asks Fry if he still wants a vacation,
Say, Fry, aren't you about to go on vacation?
but Fry feels refreshed after his 6 weeks off.
I don't need a vacation. I just had 6 weeks off.
And he and Leela agree everything is.
Just right.
Overall, this was a good episode that I won't skip on rewatches. It's not great in the way some episodes are, but it's impossible for all of them to be amazing, and this comfortably meets the baseline for Futurama when it was consistently good. It feels like a classic adventure with the combination of nonsense and heart, and has a nice little message about appreciating the mundane and wonderful things in our lives when we see them through fresh eyes, even if those eyes belong to a creepy little temp. This episode does have a lot in common with Fun on a Bun, the Neanderthal Oktoberfest episode where Leela thinks Fry has been accidentally made into sausage, and so she Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless minds him and forgets him. But in both episodes, she's out of sorts without Fry, even when she doesn't remember him, and I think that's both cute and nicely consistent.
It's cute. So why does it make me feel, I don't know, sad?
I do feel really bad for Frank in this episode, even though he's clearly not a great person in terms of trying to abandon everyone else on the planet, but I do kind of understand. I mean, they were quite rude, in addition to leaving him stranded for 23 years. While Quid's Game was a stronger episode, this one felt the most like Futurama to me so far this season. I laughed at a lot of the jokes, and it definitely passed the ADHD test in terms of keeping my attention. I really hope this represents a bit of a return to baseline for this series, and I'm excited to see what next week's episode has in store. But that's all I have for you for now. What did you think about this episode? Which 2 books would you want to be stranded on a dump planet for 23 years with? Let me know in the comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe for more videos. See you next time. Wiedersehen. The purple paper purple paper